Welcome back to Clyde's Mechanical Garage, where every bolt tells a story and most of them are bad decisions. Today, we're diving into an engine that's seen better days. It's dirty, it's tired, and it's gonna get a complete makeover-ish. We're tearing it down and cleaning it up and giving it the kind of care that only a tight budget will allow. So grab a wrench, hit that subscribe button, and let's see if we can breathe new life in this crusty old engine. Stay tuned. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Clyde's Mechanical Garage. Today, can you smell it? Mm-hmm. Can you smell the crisp, humid air of Georgia? That's right, the weather is changing. I have long sleeves on. That ain't gonna stop us from carrying on with the old UBBBB, Ultimate Budget Beater Build. That's right. If you look behind me, we have got a new used power plant to throw in this old girl. Now, she ain't perfect. Come out of a donor vehicle. Tahoe I already had. Don't you worry about that. Easy to find, but I already had this one, so we snatched it out. But guess what? All the connecting rods are still attached. That's a good sign. This thing's been soaking for like 3 weeks. Each cylinder head has been soaking with oil just to loosen up everything in there. So we got some good rotation. Of course, there's surface rust on there. And there's no need to throw it back in there without going ahead and taking care of what we can, right? So we got a whole crap load of parts over here. All in them boxes. Whole crap load of parts with here. Whole Jerry Bank versus Glow. We got oil pumps, we got water pumps, we got lifters, we got it all. And we're gonna redo the heads too. Gasket kit, redo the heads. We're gonna do all that. And hopefully on our way to having the ultimate budget beater build shop truck. That's right, shop truck. So what we need to do to get started? Well, it's pretty simple. We need to go ahead and, I think the first thing we need to do is drain the oil out of this thing, right? All right, how did that? Let's just drain a little bit. Let's talk about this engine. It is the exact same engine, maybe 2 years newer than what was in here. Have no idea the mileage on there because Tahoe was not running. I don't really care if the Tahoe was running because it's pretty matter of fact, as long as I got compression, I got all other parts, we can make it run. That's not a big deal. But while we got a part, we're going ahead and change some parts on here that will be aggravating to change if they go bad later on in the future. So we're going to get the 2 position sensors, camshaft and crankshaft, are going to be replaced. Knock sensor. Both those are going to be replaced along with this thing. It came with this, believe it or not. Clean the top of it. Like I said, new lifters. Both heads got some new valve seals. So those will be, and we'll lap those valves, so both heads will be kind of redone. And got some non-abrasive ways to clean these heads, these surfaces off. And hopefully give this thing a good cleaning. Like I said, oh yeah, and an oil pump, and a water pump, and a new timing set. So other than going in the internals and the bearings and all that, it's going to be a stock engine, just newer parts. That will hopefully last another 100,000 miles or 50, what have you. I don't really care. While it's draining, let's go ahead and pull these lifters out of it. Good thing we got some new ones. With the wire stuck in there. See, I broke that whole thing off. That's all right. We'll get some new knock sensors put in here anyway. Okay, 7/8 to do it. Yeah. That is what you call a knock sensor. They really don't look that bad, but I broke both of them. Don't ask me how they work. Didn't get into the scientifics of it and don't really bother me that much. Let's see, we done draining all out. Yep, let's put our plug back in the hole. Hold it to you, don't hold it like that. Hold it to you like that. You take control of your machine. Depending on your gasket material down there, rubber material down there, is how hard this thing's gonna be to come up. Kind of want to keep an eye on that. Maybe your gasket kit, maybe your kit came with a gasket to replace this. Right now we're pulling the lifters out. Got new lifters going this thing, that's cool.
One just went back in a hole.
Now you can look at them, they're pretty rough. You can even hear them. Good time to replace this stuff. Don't worry about it. They're not that expensive. Hang on, let me pull all these out. They're not that expensive. Go ahead and replace them. Yeah, these are just, it's a lot of composite buildup on there. And yeah, we're not gonna run these. I'm not gonna take chances to try to run those. That's why we got new ones, right? No need to try to throw that in there, but right now, what I'm gonna try to do is take this screwdriver and break a lot of this stuff loose. I'm not gonna get it perfectly clean, cause I mean, at some point it'll break loose.
Ready?
I'm not gonna completely keep everything out of your inside of your engine. You're gonna try to mitigate as much as you possibly can. I popped a lot of the loose stuff off. Now we're gonna get in here with some of the fine stuff. And I just wanna clean this off because I don't want anything else falling in there. I'm gonna put the vacuum cleaner back up here, try to ensure that I don't have anything falling in there. Like I said, guys, we're not trying to get it perfect. We're just trying to get it show quality. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. It's not gonna be show quality. I wouldn't even put this in a damn
Movie.
I mean, I'll put in a movie if it's like about monster trucks wrecking cars. Like wrecking my stuff. All right, guys, let's have a look at what it looks like now. Of course, we didn't get it all out.
There's no more black stuff on that.
There's some black stuff still in there, but we've got it way, way better than what it was, and that's what we're going for. All the heavy stuff's off. But, what's next? What do we need to do next? Oh yeah, we need to take this thing off, don't we?
I call doing that.
You wanna do that? Yeah, bring the oogas. Bring the oogas. Hold it, go. There you go. That's all I gotta do. This is the pulley that goes to the oil pump and the crankshaft. This, of course, has to come off before we can get this cover off.
Yeah.
You're pretty. So where are we at right now? We've cleaned the carbon buildup out of the top. Thanks, buddy. So we're gonna flip this thing and we're gonna pull the oil pan off. Why are we gonna pull the oil pan off? Because pickup tube's down there and I don't really feel like fighting that to take it off the oil pump, correct? Mm-hmm. Correct. That's where we're at this point. So let's flip this thing down. In order to flip something, you get over here on this side. I'm just kidding, you flip it any way you want to. Now since my pen don't line up as good as it usually would, I'm gonna plop it right there, put a screwdriver in it, call it good. All right. While he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this engine mount. That is held together with RTV. Nice.
Jingle bell, back and smell.
Basically, the focus today is going to be us trying to get this engine blew apart, cleaned up, so we can throw a little coat of paint on it.
Oh!
Lower valley pan, you can tell what kind of shape this engine is in. This is all the crud we got off from the top of it. No, it's not snot boogers.
Is that 13?
Yeah. All right. Perfect. I have oil on my screen. You know we're working on something good. Now this far we're getting to taking the bottom valley pan. We want to get it cleaned up. You can see the boogers and crud up under this thing. We don't want no boogers and crud up under this thing. We want it clean.
We're gonna put this one in there.
The cleaner we get it without blowing it all apart, the better it's going to be. There you go.
That's ready to come off there.
Pick up tube. Yeah, you can see how stopped up that thing was getting. I'm going to drop it down in the tank. See if you can break some of this stuff loose and blow it out. All right, and the barrel pan comes off.
PB blaster.
PB blaster on it. Just to, all right. The oil pump should just slide off right there. Make sure we got this thing top dead center.
Hey,
Be about right.
shifting.
Huh?
They're shifting.
I know, they're supposed to. Should be about right there. You want your camshaft and your crankshaft lined up. Of course, I don't know if you can see that little dot right there, and the dot right there lines us up. And of course, our number 1 cylinder is always top dead center. Hold it straight, hold it straight. You'll strip bolts out that way. And that's your old timing set. All right, guys. I have a 2-pronged puller here, 2-arm puller that fit perfectly behind that. And these are kind of pressed in there a little bit, like it's there's a keyway and everything, but it's kind of tight on there. Been on there a while. There ain't no scenario on here where you ain't gonna have to give it a few ugga-duggas. Notice I left the bolt on there to keep from marring up my crankshaft. Take the screw and that little, whatever the hell this thing is, take that off, and we will be replacing that as well. Take you a mental note of where this keyway is facing. You know, it's facing directly with number 1 cylinder. Number 1 cylinder is top dead center. Just make sure your crankshaft is still there when you put the timing set on. The pin is what it is. There's a pin on the gear, so once you line that dot up with the bottom, you should be good to go on your timing. So don't let that fool you. Now we're pretty much to the point where I've taken everything I'm going to take off. Okay, guys, I have spent a whole lot of time trying to get the gunk out of this motor. It ain't perfect, but we're rolling, right? This thing has spent a long time on the road, and obviously it had not had an oil change regularly. So we're kind of fighting that. I had a lot of gunk in the oil pan. I didn't even show it to you. It's just how bad it was. But anyway, let's go ahead and put this gasket, retainer plate, whatever you want to call it. I had this countersunk for torque screws, and I ain't got no torque screws, so I'm gonna roll with my hex head screws. We'll torque them down to 18. I think torque's head is 11. I got a little thin layer of grease on there just because I was cleaning it and I didn't want it to flash rust. Goes over the retainer just like that and put the screws in. So I actually went and got some Loctite for this. Y'all been around the channel enough. Y'all know I rarely use any kind of Loctite or anything because frankly, you have to care enough. Now you don't have to go crazy with that stuff. Just put some Loctite in there, start your screw. Kind of hand tighten them. I've already got our torque wrench set. 18, awesome. I have watched people do this a couple times, and they stick it in the oven, 200 degrees or something. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna drive it on and hope for the best. And most time it just slides right on there anyway. But show you something. Take your old one, the one you pulled off of there, stick it on there. Just give it some taps in there. Here we go. And you'll hear it bottom out, which it has. And we've put our sprocket on. Well, not the crankshaft sprocket. I guess it calls it crankshaft sprocket. I ain't sure. Dot here, they're lining fairly well. Soaking our chain here in oil for the better part of 10-20 minutes just to get it lubed up here. And let it drain out. I don't know why. I seen somebody do it and I figured, hey, it looks like it's pretty smart. Looks like it's pretty smart, so we'll do that. Yeah. Do what I say, man. Do what I say. All right. Let's pull this over. Too much going on here. Pull this back off. Of course, we're gonna drop our chain here, right there, and of course. There we go. Hey, that might have been like perfect the first time. Look at that. Perfect. Perfection. Everything I got here come off Amazon, most of it. So, whether they work or not, I don't know. But I'm happy to be the guy to try to figure it out, you know? Torque these 18, I think I said 18 to 26 pounds. So I'm gonna put it up about 2 pounds. That'll put us to 20. And just torque it right there. I'm gonna torque it right there. I'm having problems with my batteries on my thing. So of course I had to wait for you to charge, and right now you're just at 50%, but hey, I need to get some work done, but I don't want to do it without you guys. I've done a lot of cleaning without you guys. And you can see how pretty they look. So pretty, so pretty. And I didn't take anything aggressive to it. Just a little steel wool, wire brush, and a little bit of elbow grease. Went in there with this pipe cleaner thing to go in there and clean out right here, and then I give it all a good bath of liquid rinse just to keep it from rusting again. But now, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? It's time to put some lifters in this thing. Of course, I've had my lifters soaking in oil for the better part of a day. Wasn't planning on having it soaking for a day, but yeah, they're soaking in that oil right there. This sweet little box has the lifter caps. Of course, they were in there, right? And I put them in there, but this is the lifter caps. Got 4 of these units. And some brand spanking new bolts to go in them, right? So, self-explanatory, put the lifters in the caps, put the caps in the holes, and screw them down. Been smoking. Been smoking, that's stupid. Why I say it's been smoking? It's been soaking. We should be good to go. I don't see any bubbles coming out, so drain out. Now this is messy, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not 100% sure why this battery's not like I'm fighting this thing left and right. But anyway, stick them in your retainer, drop them in the holes. You shouldn't have to force it, should just fall right in. As long as it falls right in, we're in good shape, okay?
You're so slick, little bugger.
Ew. My engine building is so greasy. So greasy. All right, guys, so where we're at? Well, I'll tell you where we're at. We're getting the engine cleaned up. That's what we've been working on the last, hell, I don't know, last week or so. I'd be lying to you if I said that it was an easy job. It's not, especially when you're trying to reclaim something that's kind of been left for dead for a while. Got a lot of the carbon buildup cleaned off of the engine, so now it's time to turn our attention to the heads of this unit. We are using the original heads out of it. I didn't see any problems with it, didn't see any problems with springs or the valves. However, we are going to pull them and clean the carbon off of those as well. I've already did one head, so I figured I'd break it down and show you how I did this head. There you go. That is the coolant tank. We're going to take the old vice grips and just hope for the best. Clamp it down there as tough as you can get it, right? Like that. Kind of give it some taps. Just like that, and it should. More times than not, vice grips and a little heat usually takes it out. You may have some stubborn ones. And you don't need a ton of heat. That heat just kind of breaks up the little corrosion that's holding that body. Remember, steel and aluminum don't mix very well. So we'll go back in and we'll probably put some anti-seize on those, just keep them from maybe doing this again. But that's all you got to do to remove a bolt. It ain't nothing fancy. You ain't got to weld nuts or washers or anything else to the thing. A little bit of heat and a little bit of elbow grease. Pop that stud right out of there. Well, I'm about to show you guys how I do it. And it's nothing special, nothing secret. It's a spring compressor for LS heads or any other heads kind of set up this way, I'm assuming. Now, probably if you've had better sense than me, you'll mark each one of these valves, but since I'm lapping these valves, I don't think it really makes a difference. We're gonna find out at the very end of this whether it does make a difference. Now, I ordered this off the Amazon, and take note here, this is exactly how it came out of the box from Amazon. It had been used, looked like somebody used it and sent the unit on back. Well, guess what? We're gonna carry on just like it is. But, hey, you work with what you got. That's what they sent me. I ain't got time to set it back. Basically, it sets up just like this. Put that spacer on there. This T-light thing right here comes down. Start your bolts in that unit. You want to give that a tighten. Kind of go the other way. Tighten it down there real good. Same over this one. Tighten it down there real good. Basically, what we do now is take right here, take this, and compress them springs together. Stuck valves are going to push down a little bit. Take your little rubber mallet here, kind of tap them back up a little bit. And they're compressed, right? So now we take our little retainers out. Save your retainers, because, well, at least in my case, save your retainers, because I ain't buying no more. I got a bag over here, baby. Should have 4 retainers there. Just like that. Stick them in your bag. That's why I didn't care if that thing was used or not, because it's doing the same job I wanted it to do. So, hey, might overpay for something not used, but there, got all my retainers from the other one in there too. Then, just like you stuck it on, I don't take that bolt all the way off. Take it off just like that.
Then we do it again.
Yeah, then we work our way down 4 more times, do the same thing. Take it off. Take your plate off. Should have a spring, a cap, 2 springs, 2 caps. And right here is your valve seals. Of course, I'm gonna replace those too. So we pull them valve caps off. Those valve seals off. And you can see they've had a rough go of it. Same way with this one. There we go. See how it's retaining oil down there? That's what it's supposed to do. But, and then our exhaust and intake valves should pop right out. This one's, oh shit. Tighten it a little bit, there we go. And you can see the carbon build up on all those exhaust valve, intake valve. And that's pretty much all she wrote with it. After that, it's just cleaning this thing and then lapping valves and putting it back in. So I'm gonna turn it off, I'm gonna get the rest of these out. And we'll meet back up with you in a minute. We're not doing anything fancy here. We got a pressure washer, we got some engine degreaser, and we got some brake clean. That don't do what we need it to do. Don't worry about getting water anywhere on this thing. Most of it's aluminum, but we're gonna let it soak in there a little bit. All the way around. And for the most part, we can break it up with a brush. Well, what it do, guys? What it do? Boy, I've been steadily working off camera a little bit. I showed y'all a little bit of me cleaning the heads. Heads are looking good. We still ain't lapped those, but let's go ahead and throw this engine back together. I'm ready to put this engine back together, guys. Ready to put her back together. She's looking good. She's clean. She's stood it out. I flopped these around. I did flop these around because I think they're cut off for here. Don't know why these are here because the old ones don't have them. But hey, flop them around, look a little better. Anyway, lifters are in, the caps are on. So I think it's about time to throw the oil pump on here. What we have here is a brand new Amazon special oil pump. This right here, O-rings for the pickup tube for one. But it also comes with a spring that you can take this hex screw deal out right here, and you can actually put a heavier spring in there, increase the oil pressure. Anyway, we're going stock anyway, so we're not going to worry about that. Let me preface this by saying this is a stock motor. I have not changed the cam or anything else. It's supposedly precision machined. There is a ring that goes around this orifice, you take this off, and if you were to say running a higher RPM engine than what I am, like a racing engine, or you just cammed it out, it's probably in your best interest to shim, to tick you some filler gauges and shim each side of that ring. I'm not gonna worry about that. It's not gonna affect this thing really. It's machined that way. I'm gonna roll with it. But if you feel more comfortable doing that, I would say go with it. Slides on just like that, and you have a oil pump on there. Of course, like anything, guys, anything that is probably the bolts probably need to stay there a good little while. Probably need to put some Loctite on it and torque them to spec. I know, foreign language coming from me. A little Loctite on there. Oh shit, that's a lot. Start your bolt. Torque wrench is already set to 18 thousandths. Is what I'm gonna torque these to. And we successfully have installed an oil pump. Now, let's turn her over. First of all, I don't know if I ever showed you guys this. I know I didn't take the pistons out of this engine. I didn't do it. I didn't check all the bearings in there. Trying to keep it budget, guys. Trying to keep it budget, but still give us a pretty decent thing to start with. Kind of get you going here and kind of get your movements in there. Make sure there's not a lot of play in each one of them, which all of them are feeling pretty good. Each one of your pistons and all that. Just, if anything stands out, that means you fix it. But right now, nothing seems out of whack, nothing seems loose. Same with the camshaft. Kind of give it a visual inspection. That's all we really did, was give it a visual inspection. Now we're gonna go down with the valley pan here. Yes, I did clean it a little bit. It's not perfect, but we're gonna go back down with the valley pan. Notice it says rear right here, so take that with a grain of salt. That means go to the rear. Then of course we have our pickup tube. I did clean this out really, really good. Blow it out, spray it out, blow it out again, just to be sure. You don't want anything restricting your airflow. Before you stick this on, you want to make sure nothing is in your screen here. See it? Nothing in the screen. Self-explanatory, but some people just don't know that kind of stuff. That's where your O-rings come in that you got in your kit. 3 of them in here. Not sure why. Maybe they're different sizes. Let's just test them and see which one fits better. Try the thicker one first. I always feel good about thick ones. I feel pretty good about that thickin'. Let's go with the thickin'. Kind of O-ring on. And then I'm gonna take and get a little of this oil sitting on the base right here. And just put a little oil around it. Work the tube in there till it goes in. And then our pickup tube is on. Give that thing a couple of huggers and she's attached. Now we want to hook them on down. There we go. Valley pan, pickup tube, oil pump, all installed. Pretty sweet, huh? Now guys, I have a freshly cleaned timing cover that also gets a new gasket. Yes, I replaced the seal in the timing cover. Not much to that, that's why I didn't show that. I got this tool. You can also use a screwdriver, stick it in there, pop it out, take your little rubber mallet or a dead blow hammer or something and knock the new one in. It's nothing special about it. I know people have sockets and stuff. It's really not that. It's really not that much. It's kind of stupidly easy. Now that we have the timing cover started on there, we don't want to go full blast throttle. We don't want to, maybe I'll get it out in a minute. We don't want to send it all torqued in there already, right? What we want to do is get the balancer put in there first. That way it'll help us. This will help us locate the cover, okay? And basically there's certain tools you can get to do this, and to be frank with you, it's probably a smart move to do it. Like I say, guys, there are tools that you need that you would probably want to have to get this done. So you're gonna have to press this on with a bolt. I put a little grease in there. Might be a good time to mention these are not reusable bolts, but I didn't buy one, so old Steve-O's gonna reuse them. Before we go full send mode on this thing, we're going to want to level it up to where the oil pan is. Want a little light in there, kind of leveled up with the oil pan. And tighten her down. Same way with this side. Pull it up. Pull it up, kind of level with the oil pan. And center down. Now you should be able to come back and forth with this with no drag. You got drag, something's too high, something's too low. Press that before it gets too late. Now it's time for the oil pan. One way to go on, just like that, like that. Then we stick the oil pan on. Make sure there's nothing in there, no trash or nothing now, guys. You don't want to be the guy that left trash in there. Freshly overhauled oil pan here. Looks brand spanking new to me. Got a new gasket on there, that's cool. Had to do some cleaning up, I forgot. Of course, let's not forget those long donors. Of course, they're gonna go back here. And they go into the rear camshaft cover. Like, yeah, we're gonna leave those out for right now. And that should take care of everything on this side of the engine anyway. Let's flip her back over and put the valley cover on, and we'll be done with the building of the engine. Then we can jump back onto the heads and do some lapping valves and shit. Just like anything else I've shown you, this thing's got little rubber seals at the bottom of it. They get brittle, they get hard, replace them. Same deal as the other one. They're pretty easy to replace. Look at the shape. You see how the shape is? I'm gonna leave 4 bolts out of this thing. And the reason why is because I'm gonna use those bolts to lift it, put it in the truck. Then of course we're gonna leave these 4 loose. We're not completely done with throwing the motor back together. We've got a couple more things that we gotta kind of take care of. Of course, got our 2 knock sensors to go in here, got 2 new of those. We've got our camshaft position sensor. Then we've got our, I want to say coolant temperature sensor. No, the oil pressure sensor. Yeah, that's the oil pressure sensor. Then we've got our, right here, this area right here, we've got our crankshaft position sensor. So of course we got to throw all that back on. Got new one of those. And then the last thing we really got to do to this thing is lap some valves, put the springs back on the head, and then we can send this old girl home, put her back in her home. And that's what I'm really excited about. These are what you call knock sensors. They detect knocking, as by the name. That's all I know. It hooks up the wires. It does knock detection. That's about as far as I know with it. Give it a little torque. The knock sensor's on. Cam and crank position sensors are on. Timing cover, oil pump, timing set, oil pan, pickup tube, all that has been reinstalled, cleaned, and we've got a complete engine, guys. We've really brought down the house with that one. Well, on our way to this heart transplant being ready to go in the new body. Can you feel the excitement coming from me? Can you feel it? I can honestly say the steam coming from my head just waiting on it. But now it's time to do some cool stuff. And when I say that, I mean stuff that I've never attempted before. And bring you along with me, because I'm gonna lap some valves and maybe put this thing back together again. All right, guys, trying to give you a side-by-side scenario. These have been lapped, clean, nice and shiny. This is the old one, has not been ground yet, so you can see the difference. All right, guys, we're getting ready to work on this this other head here, and I'm going to walk you through the process of preparing this head to go back on this motor the best way I know how, and that's just, you know, taking a pick at the bottom of the mine and hitting rocks until you find some gold. You know what I mean? That's all I really do half the time. Let's check it out. Let's check her out for posterity purposes. I don't know what posterity means, but let's check her out. What we have here is a freshly cleaned head. Not perfect, no. But in order to get it to the point where we can lap, grind some valves, lap some valves, all that good stuff, in order to get to that point, we've got a couple of things we need to do. One being, we got to take these alignment pins out. They're stuck inside the head. What I like to do is take the smallest screwdriver I possibly can find, get it down there. I can feel the lip. Get it down in that hole. I can kind of feel the lip. Then I take that screwdriver and kind of knock it down a little bit. There you go. That's your alignment pin. Get your little lube. I like to use a brass wire brush just for, you know, I don't want to scar anything up. Just go in there and pump her in there. Act like you've had kids before, you know what I'm saying? Guides are clear. The more carbon you get out, a couple things you're gonna need when you lap the valves. First of all, you're gonna need the head, you're gonna need the valves, right? You're also gonna need some lapping compound, okay? See that? Been at most hardware stores or the internet. Don't do like me and buy bullshit on the line. It doesn't work. You know, chunk that, it ain't worth a damn, right? I don't even, you might as well give that to kids for Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Really all you need is drill, valves, head, and some lapping compound, and a valves. So you're just gonna start one end first. And remember, keep them in line once you start lapping them. You don't want them to be, keep them in line once you start lapping them. You don't want to get them out of order, because these will be made for that port. So once we get them cleaned up, wipe it down. You're gonna wipe your port down a little bit. Get your little lapping compound, put it on the edge. You ain't gotta have a bunch, just enough. Stick it down in your valve guide. Take your drill motor. Tighten it down. And just go to town on it. Lap it. Reverse it. Put a little bit of pressure, not a lot. Reverse it. Kind of go back and forth. You want it to really eat into that seat. That way we got a nice flush. Now if you don't feel comfortable with what you end up with valve-wise, you know, how it looks and everything, you're more than welcome to keep going. But you should start getting a shiny surface. You should start seeing a shiny surface on the edge of your valve, okay? Once you complete it, start it down this end, put it down this end right here. Wipe off the inside of that valve. Oh yeah, that's looking shiny. That's what we're looking for. Wipe off that valve. Then we do the exhaust valve. Exhaust valve is going to be the smaller one of the two. Alright guys, if you can see, we have lapped the valves, or ground the valve, valve grinding, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, we've got some nice, pretty surfaces here for us to mate with our valves. Now of course, like I told you before, I keep these valves in order from where I've ground them. So intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and put those in there because we're about ready to put the springs back on. What I like to do, take a clean rag, wipe them down real good. Then I get some assembly lube and just put on that shaft. Then I'll stick it down in the hole, work it around. There we go. There we go. You know, let me do this before I forget. We've got these brand spanking new valve seals that need to be put on, and I've totally spaced on there. That's nice. Don't space on these, they're important. I did put these on the other one, by the way, so if you're thinking that, hey, I might have forgot those, I did put them on there. I just like completely spaced on this one. Sometimes they're a little tough to push down, so get you a socket or something. Kind of give you a little extra oomph on it. But you want it to seal around top of your valve guide. There you go. No big deal. There we go. All right, now we're on there. Now we can put springs on. Grab a couple springs, couple caps, just like that, nothing to that. Of course, we got our spring compressor here. If you're like me and got Magilla Gorilla hands, this is going to work your patience just a hair. Because I got to get put in there right at the right spot. I just kind of put them in there where I think they're going to lie still by themselves. Just like that. Here we go. You just kind of want to catch right there. And I like to take my ratchet and let it off because it gives me a little more leeway. And if you're lucky, everything should fall into place where it should be. There we go. See? Falls right into place. Sometimes you get them right there, like that right there, where it don't want to seat properly. It kind of wants to be hard-headed about it, but it's not that big of a deal. You take your little polyurethane hammer or whatever you got on hand, kind of tap it a little bit, and it falls right into place. Matter of fact, I do it on the other one anyway, just to set it, just to make sure I'm in good shape. Pull the rest of your valves back up, and you basically repeat that same process 3 more times. Now, while I don't plan on installing these heads until I get the engine back in the truck, just because it's easier to get the transmission and stuff from the top side if the heads aren't on there, transmission bolts on the top side, I do want to kind of get a bird's eye view of what it's going to look like with the heads on it. And yeah, I'm kind of digging this engine, man. For the budget overhaul that we gave this thing, it's pretty sweet. All black. I think it just kind of shows you that, you know, if you put a little elbow grease into it, you don't have to spend a ton of money. You can find what you need and go with it. But I mean, you can't complain about the results. Let me put this other head on here right quick. Let's see what she looks like. I think it's looking really, really good. I think it's what we want. Now for shits and gigs, let's put these valve covers on just to see what exactly these things are gonna turn out like. All right, guys, look here. Got the valve covers thrown on. Like, this is a sweet setup right here. I mean, it's nothing. It ain't got no extra power in it. It's got no new cam in it. I mean, there's a lot of things that's not new in it. But I feel like with the attention we gave to this thing, as far as cleaning it up and all the extra newer parts that we've thrown at it, that can and will wear over time. And just to get the carbon off of this thing, the valves, all that stuff being done to it without having to really tear into it and take the bearings out and just give it a good refresh. You know, it's just a good refresh. It's not a build, it's just a refresh. Not really sure the valve covers are really going to fit the feng shui of a burgundy truck here. All right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode, and although it may not have been the most entertainative, it was well needed, because this is the heart for a little girl, and we'll give her the best budget heart we can give her. Maybe this has a couple of just had a couple bypasses stents put in, but well, girl's got a heart that'll run. So if you stuck around this long, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, maybe come back, and if you didn't, you probably wouldn't be here, would you? Anyway, for you guys that did stick around all the way to the end, I appreciate it. And maybe shoot me a subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you have subscribed, I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Any support I get, I appreciate it. No matter how little, how much, I appreciate all of it. And I think that's bringing us to the end of this episode. So remember, guys, if you don't know what you're doing, pretend like you do.